The conference room fell silent as Victoria's words cut through the air like a blade. "She's nothing but dead weight," she said, gesturing dismissively in my direction to the billionaire sitting across from us. "Honestly, Marcus, I don't know why I keep her around." What Victoria didn't realize was that Marcus Chen wasn't just any investor. He was my secret business partner, and this wasn't her company we were sitting in, it was mine. For 23 years, I lived in Victoria Sterling's shadow. My stepmother had raised me after my father's death, but love was never part of the arrangement. She saw me as an obligation, a reminder of the life she'd inherited rather than chosen. Victoria built Sterling Enterprises into a corporate giant, and everyone who met her was mesmerized by her ruthless brilliance. Everyone except me. I knew the woman behind the mask, the one who crushed dreams for breakfast and served humiliation for dinner. The foundation. Growing up in her house meant walking on eggshells made of expectations I could never meet. "Pathetic presentation, Elena," she'd say after I'd worked all night on school projects. "No wonder your father was disappointed too." Her words became my fuel. While she dismissed my ideas, I quietly studied every move she made. While she focused on climbing higher, I learned to dig deeper. At 18, I enrolled in business school under a scholarship she never knew I earned. At 21, I started building my own network with the contacts she'd overlooked. At 24, I incorporated Blackstone Ventures under a shell company, keeping my name buried so deep even the best investigators would need weeks to trace it back to me. Victoria's empire was built on smoke and mirrors, impressive from a distance, hollow up close. She relied on manipulation and fear, burning bridges faster than she could build them. Meanwhile, I operated differently. I offered genuine partnerships, solved real problems, and slowly, methodically, I began absorbing her most valuable clients. They came to me because I gave them what Victoria never could: respect, honesty, and results without the drama. Marcus Chen was the crown jewel. A tech billionaire worth $40 billion. He controlled the kind of contracts that could make or break companies overnight. Victoria had been courting him for 3 years, desperate to land him as her anchor client. She didn't know that 18 months ago, Marcus and I had already shaken hands on a different kind of deal. The trap. The meeting was my masterpiece of manipulation. I arranged everything. The neutral location, my boardroom disguised as a rented conference room, the timing when Victoria was most desperate, and the audience, Marcus, who already knew the truth. Victoria walked in believing she was about to secure her company's future. She wore her most expensive suit, practiced her most charming smile, and prepared her most persuasive pitch. I sat quietly in the corner, playing the role she'd cast me in my entire life, the invisible disappointment. As Victoria launched into her presentation, her confidence was intoxicating. She painted pictures of growth, expansion, and partnership that sounded almost believable. Marcus listened politely, occasionally glancing at me with barely concealed amusement. Then Victoria made her fatal mistake. When Marcus asked about her team's capabilities, she couldn't resist the opportunity to elevate herself by tearing me down. "Well, Marcus, I believe in transparency," she said with that calculated smile. "Elena here has been with us for years, but honestly, she's nothing but dead weight. No vision, no drive, no potential. I've been carrying her out of obligation, but between you and me, she's just another disappointment." The revelation. Marcus set down his pen slowly, deliberately. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. "Interesting perspective, Victoria," he said, his voice carrying a weight that made her lean forward eagerly. "Tell me, in your professional opinion, what would you say about someone who built a $40 million company from nothing? Someone who secured contracts with Google, Amazon, and Tesla while you were still sending follow-up emails?" Victoria's smile flickered. "I'd say they're exactly the kind of person I'd want to partner with." Marcus stood up, walked around the table, and extended his hand, not to Victoria but to me. "Elena Rodriguez, CEO of Blackstone Ventures. It's been a pleasure working with you." The sound Victoria made wasn't quite a gasp, wasn't quite a scream. It was the sound of a world collapsing in real time. Her eyes darted between Marcus and me, searching for an explanation that would make sense of this impossible reality. That's not possible, she whispered. Elena doesn't have a company. She works for me. She's nothing. I stood up slowly, savoring every second of her confusion. Actually, Victoria, you work for me. Sterling Enterprises has been operating under Blackstone's umbrella for the past 8 months. Those contracts you thought you were landing, they were mine all along. I've been keeping your company afloat while I decided what to do with it. I opened my briefcase and laid out the documents that would end her reign. Purchase agreements, transfer papers, employee contracts, all bearing my signature, all legally binding. You see, when you spent those years telling me I was worthless, I was actually listening. I learned that the only approval worth having is your own. So I built something you could never touch, never claim, never steal. Victoria's hands shook as she reached for the papers, but I pulled them back. Oh, and Victoria, about that disappointment comment, you're right. I was disappointed. Disappointed that it took me this long to realize you never deserved my respect in the first place. Marcus and I signed our expanded partnership agreement while Victoria sat frozen in her chair, watching her life's work transfer to the daughter she'd spent decades dismissing. As we prepared to leave, I turned back one final time. Don't worry about cleaning out your office, Victoria. I've already had your things moved to the basement storage room. You'll find your new workspace quite humbling. The elevator doors closed on her broken expression, and as we descended, Marcus chuckled softly. Remind me never to underestimate quiet ones, he said. I smiled, thinking about the empire I'd built in silence while she shouted from the mountaintop. The best foundations, I replied, are laid where no one thinks to look.